I'm Megan, founder of Ginger Nutrition. I'm so happy to have you here. Today we're starting our free training series and the first topic is 10 strategies to have more energy now. I created this series because I've been hearing the same requests over and over in my inbox. How am I going to have the energy to make the healthy lifestyle changes that I know I need to make when I'm already exhausted and I don't know where to start? So that's what we're going to jump into today, because maybe right now when you're watching this, you just got home from a long day of work and you know you really should cook a home-cooked dinner, but you're exhausted and so you just want to order out pizza. Or maybe you've been with the kids all day and you said you'd go for a run, but now that it's actually time, you're thinking, I could use that 20 minutes for a nap instead. So I'm really passionate about this topic because I know it well, because I was personally totally exhausted when my daughter was about a year old. I felt like I'd been hit by an invisible bus, and all of my tests at the doctor said I was fine, I should be fine. I was kind of out of that really tiny baby stage, but I was exhausted and I knew something was not right. Even brushing my teeth was a big deal. So clearly there was something going on, and I'm really glad that I didn't just say, okay, I guess nothing's wrong, and I listened to my gut that something was off, because I dug deeper working with an amazing clinical nutritionist and really got to the root of what was going on. And what we did first was small steps to get me enough energy to really make the lifestyle changes that I need to make. So that's what we're going to go over today and what I'm really excited to share. So let's jump behind the screen and get right into it. Okay, hey, welcome everybody. So let's jump right into the 10 strategies to have more energy right now. Let's do it. Number 1 is sugar. Stopping the sugar addiction cycle. I think we all know how important this is in the back of our minds, but some of us are so addicted and stuck on it, we forget that it could really be pulling down our energy levels. So like we said, we're going to try to give small steps. So these are things that you can do right away, and that over a period of time, as we implement them, you'll feel better and better, more energy, and can make bigger changes. So in the meantime, we want to switch out any of that plain old white sugar and start using raw honey, maple syrup, or coconut sugar instead. And then another trick I want you to use, let's say you happen to overindulge in a lot of sugar. It can happen, right? Greens powder. So after you eat a lot of sugar, what's happening is your body, you're being stripped of minerals in the process in order to process what you ate. So your body is now craving the minerals that were pulled out. So if when you get home, let's say you go to a party, you eat a bunch of junk, if when you get home, you take the time to mix yourself up a green smoothie, make a green drink, or you could use a greens powder, something like Vitamineral Greens I like. Mix that in and drink that, have that before bed. The next day when you wake up, you're not going to be in that cycle of craving more sugar. Number 2 is caffeine. I don't know what's worse, right? The caffeine or the sugar addiction. We love it, we hate it. So a lot of people use this to wake them up. It jolts them out of bed, but you're forcing your adrenals to put out cortisol. And if you're already tired, then you might not have a lot to be putting out, and you're ending up even more depleted. There was a joke during my neurotransmitter class that at Starbucks they should serve a little shot of GABA for every cup of coffee, because when you drink the coffee and the caffeine, you get a big boost of serotonin, and that's what makes you feel good and you can really focus. But at the same time, your body wants your transmitters to be balanced. So in order to rein in that boost, it has to use up some of your GABA. So overall, in the long term, of course, this is going to affect your energy. So I promise small changes, and I know this is a big one, so I'm not saying don't ever drink coffee ever, but let's start, if you are a big coffee drinker, let's just at least make sure it's organic and freshly brewed. It's going to be less acidic if you're brewing it and drinking it within 15 minutes. And then the next step would be to start replacing at least some of your cup of coffee with an alternative, such as Teeccino or Dandy Blend. These are coffee alternatives, but A lot of my coffee drinkers are okay with these instead. And then maybe eventually green tea or herbal tea. Another big one for the caffeine is soda, and especially the diet soda. So if you are addicted to diet soda, it's going to be really hard for two reasons. Because first you have to get off of the fake sweetener, and then you have to get off of the caffeine. So you can switch out and maybe try, there's a stevia sweetened soda called Zevia. This would be something for a temporary fix and then slowly weaning off of it. Or maybe something with like green tea, because first you really want to get off of the artificial sweeteners, because these sweeteners, they don't satisfy the body's cravings for sweets, but instead they're making your taste buds become accustomed to a really, really intensely sweet flavor, and you're craving those sweets even more. So this can really mess with that cycle of craving, and you're going to have a hard time ever breaking that cycle and getting the natural energy that you need. Greens, how we love greens. How often have you heard this? Eat more greens, eat more greens. Well, it's true and it's great for you, and 2 to 3 servings a day of leafy greens, awesome. But they actually will give you energy. I like to use, I used to be really addicted to Starbucks chai lattes, and once I quit, I still wanted to go to Starbucks sometimes with friends. So you can get, now they have Evolution green drinks, essential greens, and that will give you the same boost mid-afternoon as a coffee would once you're switching your biochemistry a little bit. In the beginning you might be having withdrawal, but eventually you're going to start to crave the greens. Another trick is buying liquid chlorophyll and putting a little of that in your water and having that mid-afternoon. I put a squeeze of lemon in there too, and it's going to give you a big boost of natural energy. Chia. This is my favorite of all of them. I love chia. I got really into chia when I lived in Hawaii and I was running and I was training for a marathon. And all my running friends were reading Born to Run. So the chia was fueling the group of people in Mexico who were renowned for their long distance running abilities. Really high in omega-3s. Amazing nutrient dense food. If you put 1 tablespoon in a day, it's going to help your body utilize the food that it's consuming more efficiently. And omega-3s are great for inflammation, so overall you're going to have more energy and feel better if you're getting the inflammation down, because that's really what's logging a lot of people down. I like to either put the tablespoon of chia right in a glass of lemon water, and then you have to stir and keep stirring for about 10 minutes until all the seeds are evenly dispersed. They'll be floating in the water. Or you could blend it into a smoothie, or chia pudding is another great snack. Protein. This is where we get all of our amino acids. Amino acids are used in the body a lot of ways for neurotransmitters, and we need them for hormones. Of course, building, maintaining, and repairing body tissues. Without adequate protein, you'll often feel fatigued, and you could also have a weakened immune system. So quality, of course, is really important when we're talking about animal source of protein. Protein could come from lots of places: meat, fish, legumes. There are tons of vegetarian protein sources, hemp and quinoa, or buckwheat, and chia. I love the chia. In this picture you see the protein balls. I like to make these for a dessert or a snack. They usually have some kind of hemp powder, maybe coconut oil, different kinds of seeds or nuts and dates or raisins to stick them together. And these are awesome to have around. So I like to have each meal having a protein, a carb, and a fat to help stabilize my blood sugar, which leads me to the next slide, which is about blood sugar. So this is super, super important for energy. How many people have experienced that low blood sugar crash where you're so hungry you can't think and you'll eat whatever is in front of you. This happens all the time. One study found that the common link between people who lived to be 100 is that they all had stable blood sugar. So it's really, really important for your health and, of course, for your energy. My top tips for blood sugar are: everybody must be eating breakfast. You non-breakfast eaters, come on, I know you can do it, just something, and ideally within an hour of waking. This is really important for adrenal health. I like to have a fat, a carb, and a protein at each meal, which I already mentioned. It's really important as well for keeping your blood sugar stable. And if you wake up at night because you know you're hungry and you had low blood sugar, I want to make sure you're not eating junky food right before bed, because what happens is as your blood sugar starts to drop in the night, it signals your body that it's a stress response, so it raises your cortisol in your body and you wake up. You can try a snack such as cashews and a half a banana right before bed. It should keep it stable. And one of my favorite tricks for stable blood sugar during the day is having a sweet potato with cinnamon and coconut oil at lunch. It'll give you a slow release of energy over the day. And it really is just a great source, especially from the coconut oil. It's kind of my secret weapon for energy, because your body can use the energy more readily. So I like to try to have my clients get 2 tablespoons of coconut oil a day. Water. This is a no-brainer. We all know we need water. If you're tired or hungry mid-afternoon, make sure it's not just thirst. Make sure you're not just thirsty, because it could just be that you haven't had enough water. For me, with my adrenal health issues, the quality was even more important than the quantity. So if you're drinking water that has been filtered, which we need because there's a lot of bacteria and toxins in our water, a lot of the filters are filtering out the good minerals along with the bad. So what I like to do is just either add the minerals back in. There's some products like Trace Mineral Drops, or when I lived in San Diego, we would go to the Carlsbad Mineral Spa and get really good local spring water. And if you don't have that around, I just decided when we moved to the East Coast, I invested in a Berkey, a carbon water purification system. So it filters out all the bacteria and the heavy metals, but it actually allows the good minerals to stay in. So don't ask me how they do this, but it's pretty awesome. And I can tell from the taste, because you can tell the difference when the minerals aren't there. I can tell that they're still in there. Okay, there's lots of key vitamins. I mean, all vitamins are key, but I've just found people who seem to be suffering from energy, they often are lacking in B vitamins, vitamin C, and then magnesium. These are all really important for adrenal health. And anyone who's under a lot of stress is often deficient in B vitamins. If you have a leaky gut or any kind of gut issues, then you might not be absorbing your vitamins. And if you don't have your B vitamins, this is what we make our hormones with. So once we get our hormones imbalanced, then you can quickly see why we're going to end up exhausted and with no energy. I sometimes use Max Stress B. It's a liquid B vitamin, but ideally you can try to get it in foods. And for vitamin C, pretty straightforward. You know, we all need vitamin C. Maybe make sure you're getting a little extra, especially if you're overtired or run down. Sometimes I use camu powder to put that in a smoothie. That's really high in vitamin C. And then magnesium. This was a big game changer for me with my adrenal health. I apparently just really was deficient, because when I use magnesium, I feel so much better. So my favorite way of getting magnesium other than foods is to take an Epsom salt bath or put magnesium oil in my bath before bed. Or you can actually buy a magnesium oil spray and just spray it on the bottom of your feet, put your socks on and go to bed, and your body will absorb it through the pores in your feet, and it'll really help you sleep. We like to do this We do this for my daughter too, every couple nights. Exercise. Everyone knows exercise is really important. This will help, release endorphins. We need to sweat out the toxins. There's tons of benefits of exercise. But we also need to know that it's important not to over-exercise. Keep a stable level of energy and not be forcing your adrenals to give out more cortisol than you actually have. One of the greatest little random tips I read somewhere that I loved when I was working in the cubicle was, if you start to feel really tired mid-afternoon, which happens to a lot of us, especially depending on what we had for lunch, I would get up and briskly walk around for 5 to 10 minutes. I know this might look pretty silly in a corporate office, but you could just pretend you're going to the farthest away office and walk really fast. And it really has an amazing way of just waking you up and getting you out of that funk. Food sensitivities is really, 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 really important when it comes to energy. I think this is the top reason why people end up wanting to take a nap at their desk after lunch, or maybe that was just me. But knowing how foods interact with your body and your genetic makeup is really important. So you may have been eating a food your whole life and you think, no, I'm fine. I'm good with dairy. I'm good with gluten. I'm good with nuts. But taking the time to really do a proper elimination diet and pulling all those possible food intolerances out and slowly adding them back in, and you will really feel how they affect you when you haven't had them. It's like the first time you ever have caffeine, your heart races and your body's kind of going crazy. Whereas once you start having it every day, it doesn't really cause that same reaction. So that's why we pull these foods out and we put them back in slowly one at a time so you can see exactly how you're reacting to a food. If you're eating a food that you're sensitive to daily, you're going to be causing inflammation every single day, breaking down the lining of your gut even more, and over time you're going to have less and less and less energy. All right, what's next? Next training coming up, part 2, will be 7 rookie mistakes to avoid when adopting a healthy lifestyle. So keep a lookout in your inbox in the next couple days. And thank you very much for joining us. Please contact me anytime with questions. You can find me at gingernutrition.com. It's N-E-W. And we would love for anyone to follow us on Facebook. We're on Instagram too. If you can like and comment and share this training down below, we would love to have more people. And we'll be seeing you soon. Thanks.